Hey guys, how's it going? We're going to be obviously continuing on this scene, as the title of the video suggested, and it's pretty obvious. Off stream made a little bit of progress. Didn't do a huge amount of work. I've been recently experimenting a bit with aces, like trying to get aces to work. I do have a few comparison renders, not here. These are just test renders for me for today. I think I've got aces working. It still doesn't quite feel right to me, but it looks a lot better than it did. So on my desktop I've got a few comparisons. So this one is the sRGB renders. Basically this is exactly where we left off at the end of the last stream. And then this one is the aces version. Granted, camera angle is slightly different, but that's because there's like 2 hours between these while I was trying to figure out how the fuck do you get it to work. So weirdly it's boosted the contrast. I always thought aces would flatten it, but it's boosted the contrast, increased the saturation, especially of reds. Reds are a lot brighter now. And this is after having boosted my lights, because it made the scene a lot darker to begin with. So the light, I think, is set to 1.5 exposure rather than 0 exposure. So, we're getting a lot more contrast now because the light itself is stronger and all that stuff. So it makes the box look quite nice. It works really well for him. I'm not entirely convinced it works well on the coat yet. But yeah, the colours are completely different. The blues are a lot more saturated as well. Like I definitely prefer the Aces version, which is the left. But there's something that's not quite working yet. Hey Ian, how you doing? But yeah, so I've been kind of trying to figure out how to get Aces to work properly. Also, I've been using another project I'm working on to learn other kind of workflows. I'm trying to learn Action Interactive before I do this project, just because I haven't decided yet if I want to use Interactive for this or not. I'm currently doing the other one, which I think I was showing in the last stream. I'm doing some Skinlet dev stuff on that as well, but obviously that doesn't apply to this project at all. But yeah, so this is like the Aces version, which we're going to be sticking with if I get Maya back open. So obviously closer, it brings out quite a lot of details in the mask, which is quite nice. It kind of brings out some of the stuff we were doing. I do need to kind of rework some of the kind of fluid texture just to make it a bit more obvious, because to me it's a little bit too subtle now. So we'll get that working. Again, the box works quite nicely with this. I quite like the way the metal looks with Aces. Again, not entirely sure if I'm using Aces correctly or not, but it seems to look pretty nice. And then I think the focus of the video today is going to be on building the set around the character, because I do still need to figure out quite a lot of stuff. Obviously I've still got to figure out how I'm going to do the groom for this guy, if I'm going to do it in pose, or if I'm going to... I feel like with it being a worm I may as well just do it in pose. There's no point me doing this in what you'd call T-pose or bind pose, because it's just going to get completely resimmed anyway, and it would look nothing alike if I just did it straight and then it goes vertical. Won't work. Obviously I need to figure out the shoes still, never figured that out, and the trousers need a ton of work because they're still not where they need to be. Granted, I've literally not worked on them yet, but yeah, we need to do all that stuff. Hat's not quite working for me as well yet. I think the value needs to go down a little bit. It's a tiny bit too bright. That might be the position of the key light though, or the is this a fill light? Because the key light is the dome doing all this stuff, and then it's hard to figure out what the name of this. I think it's a fill, but we'll see. But yeah, so I need to figure out what I'm going to do for the environment. I'm thinking of having it as a miniature set, so like almost as if he's stood on a little wooden platform, and maybe it's got a back to it which can have stuff written on it or drawn on it or whatever. And then this would be a table probably. I don't know if I want to do a workshop table, or if I want to do like a dining cloth or something. Well, not dining cloth, but like a tablecloth or something. Really not 100% sure. So as a temporary thing, just while I figure out what I actually want to do, I think I'll model the base of this just to kind of figure out if it's going to work or not. So let's get on with that. And yeah, if anyone has questions, let me know. And then something, I don't think I'll be streaming on Thursday. I kind of want to record a tutorial. I've been asked quite a lot recently how I do eyes, and I've been asked today by one of my old lecturers from uni. So I figured I may as well make a quick video on how to approach eyes, just because when people ask me, I always have to figure out where in my streams I've done eyes before, and it is a bit painful. So yeah, we'll be doing that. for now though, so this is the paper base. Let's duplicate that out and hide the original, because I need to figure out if I want to keep that paper thing or not. And let's just delete that bit onwards. I guess extrude you down. I'll like shoot it up for now and then just push it down. And I think it's not helping. The one thing I don't like about Aces is the viewport. It does make everything quite dark. But yeah, so. So obviously that would need to be a lot thicker. So let's just thicken that out a bit and just lower the table to be where we want it to be. I want to avoid moving the character, if I can. Cool. Duplicate that out, move it back here somewhere. Yeah, thinking of building like a little set basically for everything to kind of stand on, so it's like a collectible almost. Then we could scatter like random objects around it to kind of make the scene feel a bit more lived in. I think that could be quite a bit of fun. These are definitely not thick enough though, so let's chunk these up a bit. Let's just set you there. Why is that moving away like at all? I don't know. What do you guys think about potentially doing something like that? Do you think it could be fun, or is it a bit of a shit idea? Because I don't know how tactile I want it to feel. Because if I went for like wood, then I'd have to put like something to kind of bolt these together. It could be cool to do like hinges or something, but obviously that wouldn't make a huge amount of sense. But there's something to sit in the corner and make it feel more interesting. This stream is very much going to be a figuring stuff out type of stream. I definitely don't know what I'm doing for this one. Let's just combine these into one object for a second. Temporary combine. Bevel. Let's do, there we go, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. This is just to make sure they're exactly the same spacing. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I guess we do have the percentage thing that comes up, although it just doesn't come up right there. 1, 2, 3. So that's that one done, and then we just need to do this guy, right? 1, 2, 3. So that's that, nice and supported. Wait, wrong thing. There we go. That's too soft, isn't it? Do we still have the bevel from like way at the beginning? We do. Fraction, let's lower that considerably. Why are you there? just feel like it could be a bit of fun. Let's go to the render cam. No, not render cam. Ref cam. So on the actual final, obviously, let's ignore this for a second. On the actual final thing, it would be something like this on the final image. So we would barely see what's going on down here. Unless I do end up like fully committing to the miniature thing and just doing other angles. But I'm not sure that will work. Let's see if these like wooden, no, wooden, oh god, what would the term be? So I'm thinking like wooden, like miniatures, wooden miniatures. Let's see what comes up for this. Just trying to figure out how a set would be built. Like what would be in that scene. Now, that's kind of cute, but it's obviously too cute for what I need to do. Character. Kind of cool. Wait a minute, choose toy. Toy miniatures. Why is this like on the first page? Nazi toy collection with Hitler and girls. Jesus. The internet is such a glorious place sometimes. Yeah, I think I'm going to struggle to find something on stream. So let's kill that. So what can this set be? I mean, I need to look at the ref as well again. Let's just quickly get, in fact, let's close that. Pure ref. Load recent. So I guess I need to do grass. We could maybe do a pass of that. It's just a case of figuring out how it's all built. Because the grass I was thinking of having like actual like fibers. I just don't know what they're made of yet. Like, are they hair or are they pieces of paper? Are they wood? Are they sculpted? Are they plastic? I mean, we can always try just quickly making some grass on this. Yeah, let's give that a go. Alright, let's do some grass grooming. This is going to be a temporary groom at best, so I'm not going to worry too much about pipeline. Let's just get paper base visible again. Hide this guy, delete that guy. Make sure that's still working. That's still working. So this is paper base. So we're going to need to definitely save a version of the scene. And project is set, so let's just create a quick groom. Temp collection. Oh, tempo 1 call temp. Oh, I need to put temp in all caps. I always put temp in all caps just so it goes early on in the list. Temp grass 01 description. Definitely don't need guides, at least for now. I can always change that later. I'm not worried about cards, to be honest. So, how are we going to do this? First off, let's turn off tube shade. Maybe tube shade. No, tube shade isn't helpful for what we need. Cool. So let's go turn off face camera as well. Do they all orient the same way? They do. Alright, I'm gonna have to figure out a way around that. I guess we can rotate around N. Okay, so that might work later when we've got noise in there. So let's just turn that off. So first thing we're going to need is a lot more length because, well, I guess we're going to need most of them to sit at ankle height, which they currently do. Then we're going to need some long ones that are in tufts, so maybe we need those to be their own groom. So let's just focus on getting these working for now. Let's go modifiers. Add a very small amount of cut. I can't boost the length of these, can I? What happens if I set this to negative? I'm just going to get a crash. Ooh. Oh wait, that's just offsetting it. Alright, cool. It doesn't actually do anything. Right, so we're going to need to go longer than we think we need to get it to actually work. I'm also going to need a little bit of taper. Well, that's the thing, so I don't necessarily want this to feel like grass. I just want it to be like vague grass shapes. Okay, I hope you know what I mean by that, but don't worry if you don't. I want this to feel angular, like really angular, which is going to be quite interesting to do. I think something I'm going to have to do for that is turn off spline segments, but we can get to that when we get to it. I will turn tube shade on just for a little bit. And I think face camera as well. So let's get this working first. Width down, then taper start up. And then we need a little bit of width randomness, so I'm just going to load my expression. Width random. That's too thin. In fact, actually, how big are these compared to the shoe? Okay, so it's like the top of the shoe is like 3-4 grass widths. So that's way too thin. And that's way too thick. There's somewhere between those, which would be 0.75. That'll do for now. Taper. I think that taper needs to go quite high, but then the taper start just needs to be like stupid late. And let's get a little bit more randomness in there. Cool. In fact, let's reduce that randomness. So, modify CV count, let's bump you up to 8 or 7, whatever I just typed. Modifiers. Let's get some noise in there. Did the default noise just get pretty much what I need? We need a lot of them to bend in the same direction. So I'm going to need correlation to be pretty high. Let's go to 100 correlation. Let's try 80 correlation. So that kind of kinks a lot of them in the same direction. Now we can probably turn off face camera. And then turn on around N. Nope, still not working. Is there a way for me to just twist all these? Oh, there we go. I need this to be random. And 0 to 360, I guess. But I need to go negative. I think I'll go negative 360 to positive 360. Because you always get a little bit of a bias in these. Like one angle always gets favored more than the others, and I want to avoid that. This frequency needs to be a tiny bit lower. Let's go with 0.8. Nah, it needs to be random. Random 0.8 to 1.2. Let's just bump that a little bit. No, I actually need to reduce that a little bit. And that magnitude needs to be considerably stronger as well. Let's go rand. In fact, no, let's not go rand yet. Let's go 0.5. Cool, so that can be the upper bound. So let's go rand 0.75 to 1.5. Something like that might look good. So now that we've got something like that, let's just quickly massively boost this count. Let's go to 8. No, 10. I'm going to turn off spline segments now. So spline segments kind of smooths things out a bit. If I reduce this for a second. So what spline segments does is if we find one that's like kinked. So you see how we got like this hair just here, where it's like angles. What spline segment does is this is your CV count. So you've got your root, which is the first CV. Then you've got CV 2, 3, and 4, which is modified CV count. Then in preview and output, this is kind of a smoothing effect. So you can now see how it's about 8. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is a multiplier of your CV count, but these don't get calculated until after the shape of the hair is done. So if you need super smooth hairs, but you want it to be pretty quick to calculate the initial noise, you can use this more, but it's less accurate. Can you add noise and assign it to the ends? Yep, you can, absolutely. Some random guy. Welcome to the stream, by the way. I think this is your first time here. So that is something I will be doing, but for now I'm just trying to get the general feel of it. These are too uniformly spaced, so let's go with... Well, it actually needs to be a lot denser, doesn't it? Let's go with like 5 density. So you see how there is a bias? Like even though I've got all this rotation, like most of them are facing this way. So let's get a little bit more length variation. Modifiers, cut. I'm just going to boost this up. I'm going to double this, but then increase the length to compensate. So let's go to that length. Let's just go 1.2. That's probably a little bit too tall now. Yeah, for most of it, that's way too tall. So let's go back down to 1. Maybe 1.1 was better. There we go. Cool, so we got that. I wonder how it figures out this, the way it's facing. So, obviously we'll have to remove the ones that he's crushing. But yeah, so now let's go in. Is there a scale modifier? I don't think there is. No, I'm pretty sure there isn't. I mean, technically there's clumping, which you can use to scale stuff, but I don't want to do that. Is that a scatter or groom? This is a groom. This is just extra. I'm going to add another noise, and this one's going to be exclusively for the tips. So let's just do that. Set magnitude to like 5, just so we can see it. Then let's go mask, set you to be my percentage affected. Pull you all the way back. And then we're going to need this to preserve length at least somewhat, right? So See, I kind of need more CVs for this. I wish there was a way to like recalculate the CVs as it goes. Because I want them to feel jagged, but I can't do that. Modifiers, let's just go like that. Boost the frequency to like 4. And then just bring that back a bit. Gives kind of a cool effect. Although that effect really relies on my CV count, so I need to lock in now. If I want to do the CV count, I really need to do that. Is it better to use Groom if you want to simulate? Oh, I'm not going to be simulating this. Absolutely not going to be simulating this. Although, yes, if you wanted to simulate it, this would be easier. But I'm not too worried about doing that. I mean, we could. I'll probably save out a preset from this. Because I'm not doing guide work, so I don't need to worry about that stuff. And we're going to need like clumps of these taller ones, right? So how do we want to go about that? Because I could do like a length map using this. Or even just using here. And just draw like clumps that are taller, but then we also need actual clumping effect on them just to pull them towards each other in the middle. Because they're all like pulled in like that. So I think a separate groom is the way to go for that. And I think I also want to do, like, it kind of softens out around him. So it's like, it's only really this consistent grass like immediately at his feet. So let's give that a go. Let's go into mask, create map, and let's just go for grass, mask, for grass, sorry, 01, mask. Fill it with black to begin with. This will probably need to be quite high, but I'll leave it at 5 for now. Cool. Then do you need a Maya shader attached? Tool settings, where are you? Where are you hiding? Why are you down there? I'll put you over there. So let's do it like, would you mind talking about the theory of, sorry, I'm stumbling over my own words. Would you mind talking about the theory a bit about when, what is needed to simulate wind effects and Houdini? You're assuming I know Houdini much better than I do. Oh, you mean simulate this in Houdini? Well, it depends on how you want to do it, because I mean, I'm going to be turning this into a geometry at the end. Like, I'm not going to render it as a groom, because I want to give it a thickness. Like, I want to actually extrude the faces, basically. I don't know why this is struggling so much. Jesus, that's bad. Save textures. Save ptex. Yeah, like I'm going to be doing this as a geometry, so for that pipeline, it wouldn't be, you know, you'd just take it straight into Houdini. You could obviously go into your modifiers and create a anim wires, export those anim wires into Houdini, do like a vellum simulation for the cloth, like a vellum cloth simulation basically, or you can do it as a fiber if you want to. I need to make these not update. I don't know why that was even trying to update, to be honest. I wonder if Aces has anything to do with this performance hit I'm having right now. Grooming doesn't allow you to apply thickness. No, not as far as I'm aware anyway. God, I really wish this was a bit quicker. Why is it struggling so much? You can't take it in as an XGen groom. That's definitely impossible, just because XGen is a Maya plugin exclusively. I don't think anything can read Maya. I don't think anything can read XGen. But you can just export it as an alembic curve. There's no problem with doing that. Right, I'm going to leave that there. Save textures. Save ptex. And then I'm going to have to probably increase this guy. So let's go to 20. Apply, accept, resave. There we go. I just think that could look cool. It gives a general effect without really needing much work. Well, no, it's not that Alembic stores grooms, it's that Alembic can store curves, and grooms can be exported as curves. So curves, grooms are basically just curves with fancy attributes. That's all they really are, which is why if you watch videos by people like Intagma, when they did a video about making a raspberry, and to do the fibers, like to do the fur on the actual raspberry, rather than use the Houdini groom tools, he just makes a groom tool with the curve settings. Like he just goes in with Vex code and just makes the curves do what he wants them to do. Which, you know, power to him, that's crazy impressive, but a bit wasteful in my opinion. Granted, he can work however the fuck he wants. Like he's way more advanced than I am as an artist. I'm no one to judge his workflow. So what I'm going to do is have like one patch that's like much longer. God, this is slow though. This has to be a Aces thing, because I've only now changed to Aces. Although this is my first time doing a groom in the scene. If this is the actual pace of the grooms, then I'm fucked. I might have to use a different pipeline to paint maps if this is actually how it's going to behave. Let's just do a little patch that's a bit bigger out here. Yeah, Intagma are really good. I remember going to FMX like years ago, and I got the opportunity to actually like see them. Ended up not going because I wasn't into Houdini at the time. Now, obviously, I do quite like Houdini. As much as I don't use it in personal projects, really, it is something I've enjoyed using professionally a few times. So I want this to feel like a bit of a proximity effect, definitely. I think I might be going a bit overboard with the kind of dottiness of it, but I think the dottiness is going to be kind of important to get it to actually read the way I want it to. This is way quicker all of a sudden. Oh no, it's slowing down. Cool. So let's just quickly save that guy again, save textures, and update you. Yeah, so this patch needs to go. It feels way too out of place. I also need to stretch it forwards a bit, I think. So like have this kind of elongate in the path he's going. Kind of like the way the general shape is going, but just a bit more intentional. So just do stuff like that. Don't know why that one was quick and then this one's going to be slow. I'm basically just drawing a Millennium Falcon right now. Like these two prongs at the front. That might make it work. There we go, that feels a lot better. So what I need now is like a patch of them that's way taller. Although I am wondering now if it's worth... oh, would that be why? No, it has to, okay. Never mind. Save textures. Save ptex. So let's give that a quick test render, just the way it currently is. I'm going to have to assign a new material to this guy. Let's go with like a AI standard surface, grass matte, because again I don't want this to feel like hair, so I don't want to assign a hair material. And let's just lock the settings of this guy in here. Just going to move that over to the other screen. Right, so let's see how that looks. Arnold, open render view, and then we can do the clumps. Do you not want to render? Oh, yeah. So what I'm going to do is let that render to a reasonable level, and then just region render this little bit. I think going for the paper effect that I was originally going to do might be the way to go, to be honest. Because I think that could have a really cool effect, especially if I grab the bottom of these and kind of extrude them to be flat on the surface. So that's smooth enough for me now. Let's just do that. And I'm just going to basically pull you all the way back, pull you all the way up. Let's try coloring this for a moment. Yes, I think we do need to go with let's go with quite a high diffuse roughness and see how that looks. Oh, that's kind of interesting. Let's just put that back down. Yeah, the diffuse roughness helps. I don't know what material that is now though. Because to be honest, I really do need to read up on how diffuse roughness works. Because I don't, like, I know you use it to do matted effects, but I don't know what it is. Like, physically, what is diffuse roughness? Because I don't think it's just like microscopic roughness of the surface. I feel like there's something else to it, like a different way that it absorbs light or something. It just doesn't feel like roughness. It probably is, and I'm probably just reading way too much into shapes. But I don't know. It's so hard to tell. I need to definitely model a thickness onto this. I also probably need to do some like creases and stuff in it, because I might actually go with the paper thing. But then, I'm not sure. Oh, I've missed a few messages. Love Entanglement, yeah, I've seen that one. So I have. So if you have a tree and the leaves would react to the wind, react quite wild to the wind, the overall drag of the leaves would bend the stem. If you allow force to be applied, is it possible to have the whole tree? Yes, but I think a more efficient way to do it is to simulate the main. What's the name? The trunk. Simulate that. Then once you've got that moving the amount that you want, then simulate the I'm talking like purely on a what's easiest way, not necessarily what's most physically accurate. It might be a bit easier for you if you simulate the trunk. Once you've got that simulated, attach the branches, simulate those on that trunk, then put the leaves on there and simulate those, because although there is an effect of the leaves, like they're basically mini parachutes for the branch, it's still going to be mainly the branch's movement or mainly the trunk's movement that's doing everything. It depends on type of tree, but I think you can get away with doing that last. If you really want to, then just do the branches and the leaves at the same time. But like that's quite a heavy simulation setup. And thank you, Andrea. I very much appreciate it. But yeah, so I think this paper effect is working. So I just need to figure out how the fuck do I sell this? Like, how do I make that look cool? Because currently it feels a bit out of place. Could I perhaps try grab this guy and assign the same material? Let's just try graying this down a bit. So that's entirely diffuse roughness doing that. It's such a subtle effect. The IOR of paper, what the fuck would that be? I do need a little bit of... I guess this would be more of a subsurface effect, right? It does not like these. Geometry. Is there a double-sided in here somewhere? Not caustics. Let's just bump this back up. Find a nice strength for it to sit at. That's not too bright. I guess where it was is actually where it works best. So I'll just leave that well alone. So the IO of wood is like 1.52 or 1.48 or something around that. So paper's going to have something similar. Sort of see the reflection, see what they're doing. So let's just set that a little bit lower. Oh, no, because it's going to have a coating on top, so let's just go like 1.6. And then put that roughness back up. Because paper isn't glossy by any stretch. And I think we do need to add a tiny bit of saturation. But then it's a case of finding what tone. I think it's going to be more like here, right? It's so subtle. Let's reduce that to like 0.01. That just gives a little bit of colour to the shadows doing that sort of stuff. What Houdini trunks are? No, when I say trunks I mean like the trunk of the tree itself. That's getting a general effect. It looks interesting at least. So now I need to add a thickness to like all of this. So what I'm going to do is save this scene I'm just going to call it, I'm going to create a folder in here called GrassGen. Put that in there, StickyMonsters, GrassGen. So I can always return to this if I need to. And then let's go back into save scene, go up a folder, go all the way down to the bottom, save view as version 44, and then I'm going to convert these to actual geometry so that I can extrude it. So let's just grab, oh, I need to grab you, and then the Satan button. Cool. So let's just delete, well, I need to get this guy, and then delete you. Why are they individual blades? Why would you do this? Combine. No. So I'm just going to add a tiny amount of thickness to all of this. Wait, what UVs do these have? Nice. Cool. Cool. And then let's just grab all these and layout. And why are all of these backwards? Flip. What I'm tempted to do now is run a mesh reduce to see what happens to the shapes, because I do want them to be a little bit more broken up than this. Like, they feel too smooth at the moment. So let's just go into mesh reduce. That's more like it. Do I like it or do I not like it? I'll keep the smoothness for now. I can always run a poly reduce later. I'm just going to select both of these and go into face mode, go into face mode. And then let's just do an extrude. And where's the, oh, you would be over there, wouldn't you? This is going to have to be insanely thick. In fact, I don't even know how thick paper is, but that's already too thick, isn't it? Let's go 1.5. Go 0.01. And let's go back into that camera, render cam, and then we can start getting some surface on there if we want to. So let's just go up and render view. So that's vaguely working. Wonder what happens if I run the mesh reduce now it's been extruded. I have a feeling not good. But let's give it a go. So just grab you. I've got a feeling it might be fine actually. It depends on how smart reduce is. It's smart enough to figure it out. Oh no, it isn't. Okay, so we'd have to undo to before that. So what I might do then is use the history to my advantage. So run a mesh reduce now. Mesh reduce, but then set percentage to, wait, I don't know which way this goes, 25? Okay, so that's the amount it reduces by. So just do that, so it's not reducing at all. Then extrude these, set the local thickness to what it was, which is 1. And now I can change the the poly reduce before it extrudes it. So I can just do that. So this is one of the key things. Like, people think that Maya, like, just because it's not node based means that you can't use your history, but you can. Like, it does a perfectly good job. I wonder if his sharpness could be kind of cool. No? Invert weights. Don't know what that does. Oh wait, that's just okay. Oh wait. Do I want to maintain UV borders? It seems to be working fine. There we go. So that will get us some like kind of janky areas, which is what I want. And then I guess for you I actually do need a bevel, which is the dumbest shit. But I actually do need a bevel on the edge of this paper just to catch some light. I don't know if I'm going to be rendering at like 4K or anything at some point. Beveling the edge of paper, that's a first. So let's look at it from like this angle. I just need to make sure I never delete the history on that kind of ground. So let's go on the render view. That needs to retranslate the scene, that's fine. And then we'll add some subsurface. And then I can worry about actually getting some texture on there. I kind of want the texture to be something that's like a reference in some way. Like, so the author for this, let me get the book out. Do I have? So the first page of this book that he has like a post-it note in it, like a printed post-it note that just says, you know, what he does. The fact he's a director and all that sort of stuff, but he's not an author. Like, he just draws stuff and he made a book of it. So I do wonder if there's like a screenplay or something by him that I could use, and like just use that as the texture, like just print off a page and like have that as the ground that he stood on. Just tweak that camera slightly. Either way, we can move the ground up now, right? So let's just go zoom into you a little bit. I have no idea how low that is. Oh, that's very fine. Minus 0.1. Okay, 0.25, I think. That's like perfectly flat paper, which we wouldn't have. You're gonna need some displacement on there. I don't know how I can do like crease displacement procedurally. There should be a way. Modify, send to pivot. Does this need to be further? So he's stood in the middle of it. That's kind of cool. Okay, a little bit of displacement in there, shall we? Not displacement, sorry, subsurface. And we'll have to get the shoes working at some point pretty soon. So let's get our subsurface in there. So the thickness is 0.01. So we want this scale to be tiny. All right, 0.01, for example. And then I guess we want the we're gonna want a bit of diffuse. And let's just test this by setting the subsurface color to like a super saturated red. That's a troppy. Let's set that this way. No, this way. Oh, there we go. So this is more of a backlighting type effect now. What is crease displacement? So I'm talking more. Don't overthink what I mean when I say crease displacement. I literally mean like displacement that looks like creases. Well, I don't know how I could technically do that. I should probably put a light behind this to test it. Just test it from this angle. It looks like it might be working. I need to reduce the spec. The spec looks super weird. Although we do need like a micro bump on there, so maybe it doesn't matter. So let's just set that back to 0. Was it 0.1 or was it 0.01? I think it was 0.1. And let's go random warp v2 because I quite like how random warp v2 looks. Yeah. I guess for leaves depending on the center, I'm not too worried about creasing them down the middle, to be honest. One, because that would be like quite labor intensive, and two, just because I want it to be like clippings of paper or something. Although I guess that means I should not have any taper. That's a fun one. But yeah, so as I said, on Thursday I won't be streaming just because I want to record a quick eye tutorial. So is there any particular questions you guys have about eyes? Or like just so I know what to kind of prepare? I was curious, do you schedule time to learn new topics in CG? When you say new topics, do you mean like completely new fields, or do you mean just different workflows? Because if you're wondering about different workflows, that's one of the points of these streams, is for me to kind of force myself to do new stuff. So like, you know, I'm using Arnold in this project. It's my first time using Aces as well. I'm using my Blue Zoo project, this one, to experiment with skin displacement, like sculpting skin pores and using IGS. So I'm trying out Chris Costa's method of like actually placing each skin pore individually. At least the one that he mentioned in thing, and actually I really like the outcome of the way that works. And then obviously Aces in this, and using IGS just to kind of learn it. I want to figure out how it works before I use it on a full project. So I like to use personal projects as a way to learn new stuff. I don't like to test too much new stuff on like proper projects, like ones that I do at work. But yeah, I don't read up on stuff as much as I used to, just because at this point I feel confident enough in my skills to be able to just dive into it and not really read up on it before doing it. Like, just give it a good go. If it doesn't work, then I don't take it personally. I just kind of move on. But yeah, so that's like my general kind of mindset to it, is like I just test out new shit. If it doesn't work, so be it. I just revert to how I know how to do it. Because the thing is, all the stuff I do, I know how I can do it, like in methods I've been using for a while now. But I don't just want to use the same methods, otherwise I'll get hopelessly out of date in no time. And I don't want to get out of date, especially since I'm still, quite young. I'm still, I'm 25, which is older than, students and that sort of shit. But I'm still in the industry quite young, so I don't want to get out of date immediately. You know, it'd be a bit pointless. I can afford to get out of date once I'm in like a higher up position, if that ever happens. But for now, while I'm still trying to grow within the industry, that's not the way to do it. Granted, you know, I'm not saying that once I get established in the industry properly that I'd want to fall behind, because I'd still want to keep up to date, but it would be less of a pressure to do so. But yeah, I think this is... the effect of this is generally working. I feel like I need to reduce the thickness, which luckily I can do per object. So let's just go in, kill this render, and extrude faces. So let's just set these to be a little bit thinner. Granted, he is tiny, so they will feel bigger than they should be, really. And this I'm going to boost slightly. And let's give that a go. Just so the grass feels thinner. Although it might not necessarily need to be thinner. Make a full tutorial, no idea how to do them. Do you do pupil just a black dot, or do you build it correctly so that you get the red pupil effects when you flash? I don't think anyone really does that, to be honest, mate. Just because it's... the pupil, so the red flash thing, what you're seeing isn't the pupil. The pupil gets special treatment, and it really shouldn't. When you see red, like, you know, I think, what's it referred to? Is it? It's not red eye, right? It's got a different name. But when you take a picture, I'm not going to go into iris textures, I think, just because there's tons of tutorials out there. I want to go into like my general setup because there's not many tutorials that explain it well. But you know, iris texturing is just kind of, it's the same as any kind of texturing, to be honest. But yeah, like the red pupil in flash photography, what you're seeing isn't, the pupil isn't a physical object, the pupil is a hole. And so what you're seeing is basically the back of the person's eye, like the inside of that person's eye, like reflecting back at you. Obviously it looks a little bit funky because you got all the fluid within the eye itself, but ultimately that's what you're seeing. You're seeing the back and it's reflecting back out. And the lens is obviously doing some stuff like a caustic effect. But it's just like the complexity of doing that is insanely high, rendering wise. And when are you ever going to want that red eye effect? If you want it for a render, then you just do it in comp. Or if it's for a still, then you build it, you know, you texture it in or something. But yeah, I don't think anyone builds the iris to actually be able to do that. Just because of how complex. I mean, maybe they did it for Blade Runner, I don't know. Because that one did need to have the iris, not the iris, the pupil kind of reflect stuff. Just because of the whole plot point of the robots glow and the humans don't. But yeah. Alright, so I think this is generally working. We do need kind of bases to some of these because they feel like they're just stuck on, or stuck up. So I have left that too late, really, haven't I? Let's... I guess if we just do it for a few of them. So just do something like that. And then go into vertex mode, grab these guys. Something like that. So let's see if that actually makes a visual difference. Oh wait, this is my actual render camera. So let's just see if that one blade of grass doesn't look stuck on as badly. If it does make a difference and it looks good, then I'm in trouble because that's a lot of a lot of manual work. I'll have to undo the extrude. Because fuck doing that with thickness and all of them, I'd rather just, you know, do it when they don't have a thickness. So it's you, right? I don't think it really makes a difference. So I guess we can get away with not doing it. Okay, another question. How do you get the glowing effect of the iris when you have lighting falling in from a hard angle? Does the light get scattered more around the iris, or does it appear to be brighter? It's a mix of two things. It's, well, as far as my awareness of it goes, so it's a little bit of caustics, well, a lot of caustics, and a little bit of shadowing as well on the rest of the eye. So what I tend to do, again, like returning to the thing I'm doing for Blue Zoo at the moment, well, I'm not doing for Blue Zoo, but I'm doing it with Blue Zoo. It's like this kind of brightness at the bottom. This is just textured in. I just painted it darker at the top. If you go onto my channel, I uploaded a time lapse of the sculpting of this character, at least the beginning start. I definitely didn't, you know, live stream all the fucking skin pore shit, because that would be tedious at best to watch. It's tedious to do, it'd be tedious to watch too. But I did live stream kind of the texturing of this, and this is a super hacky setup. You know, the eyes are part of the same mesh as the skin. It's all just painted to look different. But I always texture that in, except from like realistic projects. I didn't texture it in for the last 2 streams I've done. But yeah, very creepy. That's good. I'm aiming for creepy, so yeah, so I think that's working. Let's see about getting texture. I'm just going to search page of text images, and let's just see as a concept if this works or not. So I'm just going to grab, I do need a high res tools, handwritten maybe. Yoga journal. I need a really big picture. Oh, that's quite a big picture. That's a huge picture. What the fuck? I don't want it to be about, like, I don't want it to be super scrolly though. Size, go large. And the yoga journal kind of works, but I don't want it to be a yoga journal because that's just dumb. I need it to be scanned as well. I mean, I can always just quickly grab one of these. Let's just save image as, and let's go to projects, personal projects, StickyMonsters, images, textures, no. Oh no, it's in scenes, texturing. Create a new folder called paper, prop, paper, base. And then in here, just create a temp folder, and this one can just be base writing 01. Cool. So then let's get a. I just want to see if the idea works. Will it show us the winner competition? Well, it's not really a competition. I keep referring to it as that because I don't know a better word. It's basically just like every 2 weeks. It's run by staff members. It's not an official Blue Zoo thing. But one of the lighting artists that I'm friends with, he basically every 2 weeks sends out an email, and it's like, oh, you know, the theme for this week or the next 2 weeks is creepy, or it's an open theme, or it's this, it's that, it's food, whatever. And once he's posted that, within the next 2 weeks, you just send him what you've done, and then the following email, which will be on the deadline day, will be anything that was submitted and the next topic. So it's not really a competition. No one wins. It's more of like a, I don't know the correct term. It's weird because English is my only language, yet I can't fucking speak it sometimes. Anyway, let's quickly get this file texture in there and plug you into base color And I guess we should plug this into subsurface color 2, and we'll need to invert it and use that for spec, but we'll worry about that later. So let's go utility. This needs to be utility sRGB texture, and then scenes texturing prop paper base temp, and let's just see. I don't know how big that would be on UVs, but let's just give that a quick go. So let's go back into U. I need to turn off subsurface, aren't I, for this to work? Why is that so small? Or so big even? Well, that's inconvenient. I mean, we can tile it, but does the general idea work? Oh, it's tile. Let's try something else. So that one's not working, which is fair enough. So I think we need something that either isn't handwritten or has more contrast. It also needs to be smaller text.
Is the camera on though?
Camera's not on though. I don't have a camera plugged in.
It's over. You fart?
No. You've asked that like so many times.
No.
Are you sure it's not you that smells?
No, it's definitely your area that smells, because it always smells of fucking boy.
Boy.
It just smells boy.
Boy.
Which is literally sweaty, grassy mess. I don't know why. it's
Grassy?
so dirty. I don't know, it just smells like outdoors, but like not the nice outdoors that you want.
Also say hi, Becca.
Huh?
What?
I will say hi after I've done complaining about the boy smell. Oh, that's good. It's like, the fuck's that? I've never been called.
Let me search the name of the author of this. Well, not author, but
What are you bitching about?
I'm not bitching about anything. What are you on about?
Am I bitching?
What is going on with you right now?
I smell like a boy.
Johnny Sims meme is the latest thing. That's pretty funny.
What?
Ken. So I just typed John, which is the name of this guy. And in doing so, the most recent Google with John was Johnny Sims meme.
I'm looking for
He's a porn star.
Oh, is it the one that like can do everything?
Yeah, it's the one who's like, he's the hero we all need. He's a firefighter. He's a policeman. He does all this amazing stuff. And now it's just like people just think I'm searching for the dude.
Have you seen the matches anywhere?
No, I haven't.
Why have you not seen the matches anywhere?
Don't know.
Oh, they are.
So looks like all the results are just drawing. Oh, that's what it looks like. Cool.
Oh, there they are. I'm gonna light a candle and put it beside you.
Cool. Just don't put it below my microphone, please.
But that would be handy then.
No.
Can I put it on the desk?
Can you just not?
I know what I can do because I'm smart.
Oh god. It's a terrible start to a sentence. You okay? Oh, right, okay.
We have a table. Would Sir like to sample the fragrance before I light it?
No.
It is delicious.
Just light the fucking candle. Jesus Christ.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna set the fire alarm off.
Fuck's sake, Becca. What are you doing?
The match did a bad thing. Help, help, help. Shit, shit, shit.
Jesus Christ.
I hope the alarm moved off.
Have you played the original Mafia back in the days? I haven't played. I never played the original one. I played the second one when it came out. Becca, shut up. No, so I never played the original. I know that it's been re-released. It looks pretty cool. You are so hyper.
I'm not hyper, you're just annoying.
I was sat here silently working and you're like, you're so annoying. You smell a fart. It's like grass in here. Oh, can I light the candle? Would you like to sample the candle? It's like, just fucking get on with your shit.
No, like anybody that says that we have a loving relationship.
Oh yeah, we have a loving relationship.
No, they're wrong. Mike just bullies me a lot.
I don't bully you in the slightest.
It's not my fault.
Why is it so hard to find like a good? Let's just search page of book. I need to find like a page of text, Becca, that would look good as a texture. Because the idea I'm playing about with is not that either. There we go. Like having this as like a paper base, and like having it. I really want it to be something that John's wrote, but he doesn't write. So, like, I can maybe find out if he's directed something in screenplay.
I can ask him. I have him on Instagram.
I mean, are you guys friends or some shit? Like,
Mike, how do I meet people? I just
you are
asked.
oddly good at doing
What's his
that.
name?
John Kenn Mortensen.
John Kenn. Is his Ken spelled funny enough?
Kenn, and it's Mortensen.
Sen Mortens.
Mortensen.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. For now, I'm just gonna leave that as a proxy. Although I do need to fix the texture itself, so let's quickly do that. Becca, do you like my not grass? It's like paper clipping grass.
They're very Paddington.
Very Paddington. Right, so let's kill that. Let's pull you over here. You're so obsessed with that candle. Repeat
Why
UV,
is
so
there
this is
a weird
2.
phloem tube? Oh, you want the grass to be like a book or something?
Well, not like a book, but
Why don't you use like?
I want it to
Oliver
feel
Twist?
tactile.
Why don't you use like Oliver Twist or something?
What do you mean?
Like, there's probably hand-scribed pages for Oliver Twist, or just it doesn't need to be hand-scribed, but like.
I just want it to be something that he's done. Ideally, granted, this is just a random
Well,
fucking
he does
page.
his own sketches on his actual thing because a lot of them are all done on paper or sticky notes.
Remap HSV.
You
Remap
could
by
take a lot of his little illustrations and overlay them and stuff and just turn them into
AI remap. Is there a remap like a Arnold remap?
I think there is.
Color correct.
Try
Color convert.
levels, curves, values, all those ones. There's bound to be one.
Lamp.
Is there no remap HSV?
Well, there is remap HSV, but I'm just wondering if there's a
Oh, like a specific arm.
yeah. I'll just use remap HSV. Okay.
Redshift has a specific one. There's Redshift levels or something, isn't there?
I can't remember. To be fair, I've not really used Redshift that much. So what I need to do is make black happen sooner. So get position of this and set this like 0.2. Now I'll darken the whole thing slightly. That reads better. What's it? You know who doesn't read? Rude.
Is it wrong?
No, I don't read. I literally have never read a book in my life.
What?
I've literally never read a book in my life. I've had books read to me as a kid, but I've never read a book. Let's set that back to 1, so it was working better before. And what we need is to plug that into bump as well, so that the text kind of pushes in slightly. Close that. So plug that same thing into subsurface color for when we do use it. And then AI bump. And what I'm doing is just getting it prepped for when I actually use stuff. Let's go bump map, normal camera. Now all that push the text in. And then what we can also do is reverse that. And plug that into roughness, into spec, sorry. So specular color, or specular in general. Grab you, turn spec all the way up, turn you all the way down, turn Iowa all the way up. It's not really working the way I want it to. There we go. I guess that more of that kind of pushed in kind of look. Oh, a bit much maybe. Let's reduce that bump just a little bit. 0.5 maybe? And then when we've figured out what we want to replace it with, I just go in and replace it. I just really want this to be something that somehow relates to this, like, project. And let's just get to a proper distance. I mean, hell, if I really wanted to, I could write something on a piece of paper and get it scanned. But the chance of me getting it as a clean image is just not going to happen.
We have like a camera now.
What, sorry?
We have like a camera.
Yeah, but the chance of me having the skill to get a perfectly flat image with no lighting information. Because even with a flash, it would just be front lit, it would look weird. I like the general effect though. What do you think? I need to like crease the paper itself, but
Yes.
so that's a case of how, because I need to feel miniature, so I need to do something on the table itself. I'm thinking like, I don't know if I want to do a red cloth or something, but one thing's for sure, I'm going to have to rotate it. The table, that is.
I'll probably ask you for some quick feedback shortly.
Sure. I mean, if you want feedback now, I can give you feedback now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? Cool. One sec, guys. Just going to get back some feedback.
I'm just trying to make this like a head shape a bit more babyish.
Babyish. The widest point is here. The widest point on the head is here.
So like
It's
here.
like directly above the ears. So if you go to side view, it's like there. So remember the trick of Alt? Yeah, where it pulls it out. So make that your widest point. And then you're going to need to go in with the trim dynamic and just kind of chip away this bit a little bit.
This bit?
Yeah, you see how you got this shadow that's going diagonal?
Mm-hmm.
That wouldn't really occur. It should be a bit rounder into the head.
Okay, so just round this like this.
Well, round it into the top of the head. So if you get trim dynamic, D, and then just brush wrong way, go that way.
This way?
Yeah, it's that top ridge you want to get rid of. There you go. You may need to do a few passes with a massive brush, I don't know, but that will help. You just want to remove that kind of weird shadow that you're getting.
Okay.
So that's going to fuck with you a lot. But yeah. Babies, by the way, are like one of the hardest things to get right. Like even pro modelers are like, I hate fucking making babies because they're so difficult to do. Baby heads that are so hard to get right. Right, so it has a miniature feeling though, which is good. So table-wise, do I want to do like a cloth or do I want to do a wood? Because I could do a wood, but let me search paper on table and see what comes up. Okay, let's put that over there. On table. So I never know what's going to come up when I Google stuff. Paper on table. I'm just going to add the word photography. Pro modelers hate making babies. Yeah, that's a quote. That's definitely a quote. Credit where it's due. See, if I do commit to this paper on table thing, I need to add more to the scene. Because it would be really boring if it's just the paper on table. I look forward to getting him in pose. I think this will start to look quite cool when he's in pose. But what will go around this? Do I want to do some like proper prop look dev? I guess it could be fun. Because I feel like I need to commit to whatever look I'm going for, like really try to sell it. Because one of the biggest issues I have with like CG art sometimes is that like you get the key aspects of it right, but then you don't give a shit about the rest of it, and that really bugs me. And it's in all my work as well. And it's something like with this I want to shake off because I want this to be like a scene. I don't want it to be a single render. I want it to be an entire kind of like, not tell a story because that's just cliche as fuck, but I want it to tell a story. I just want it to feel like something's going on. Like this is just some like dude's little art project that he's doing or something, and like, you know, either he's got a messy table or he's finished it and he's put it out for, you know, just to show his parents or some shit. I don't know, but could be fun. So worth having multiple layers of paper. Because it's currently too straight. I do need to like either bend an end of it or something. Not sure. Let's go back onto that Google search. Why? Is that a thing? Do people do that?
What?
This. Sit on their tables, like with a little mat laid out. Is that a thing? I mean, stock photography might actually not be a bad shout. I could do a pencil and a glass of water. But where did they go? Like scene-wise, where did they go? Because I guess what you could have this kind of be is like the writing on the page could be about whatever this kid's doing, and this is like an author's kind of imagination type thing where he's like just finished writing it out and this is what he sees in his head, like this is what he's written on the page. It could be quite cool. I don't think anyone would ever bother to read the text, but I feel like if I'm gonna commit to it, then I fucking need to do that shit. So I have no idea how I'm going to achieve that look. God, how am I going to do that? I'm going to need a few pages, aren't I? So let's just do that first. Let's go back into perspective. Let's just move that down. Then we're going to need to kind of break these up a little bit. Fuck, that's sensitive. And that one be rotated slightly. Just so there's a layer to it, you know. And then, is that actually above the table? I don't think it is it? No, it's slight is like on the surface. Something like that. God, it's so hard to tell. If you could see my posture right now. Okay, there's 9 people watching, so there's going to be at least one good idea in there. What do you guys will think will suit this scene in terms of, like, I'm thinking having a pencil here, some a glass of water or something over here, maybe not a desk lamp. Crease the paper at the corner so it's not so perfect. Obviously a little bit of displacement just to kind of mess it around. Make it not so perfect, but and then it needs something for up here, because up here would be too empty. Maybe like see, is this a little workstation, or is this a dining table that he's just sat on the end on and writing? I don't know. I have so many questions and so few answers. I don't think we actually see any text like on any point of this grass, which is frustrating. I might boost the contrast just a little bit because I'm not sure this has got enough to it yet. Oh. Just grab you and just boost that a tiny bit. Let's go like 0.25. We might be starting to darken the overall paper at this point, so I do need to be careful. I think we got away with it. Now, is that too strong, or is it fine? The bump's actually still working, which is fortunate. And I need to make the face be the focal point still, though, don't I? How would you go about wrinkling, crunching paper? Depends on the look I want to go for. If I want to do like a ball of crumpled up paper, I'd probably simulate it. I think that'd be easier than modeling it, to be honest.
Modeling crumpled paper is a fucking bitch.
Yeah. But like a ball of crumpled paper, I think the easiest way. There is actually a tutorial on it. I remember seeing it years ago. Encloth paper ball. This tutorial is newer than the one I remember watching. I mean, I guess the general idea across. I don't like the results. It feels a bit weird. He needs to crank his settings a lot more. But he did this with cloth. That doesn't feel like paper though in the slightest. He needs to make it a lot more kind of metallic, because paper doesn't fold, it creases. Well, it does fold, but it doesn't like gently fold the same way cloth does. So you have to set incredibly like strange cloth settings to get it to work. But yeah, but you get a general idea, right? He just simulates it inside a ball. I think he just inverts the normals of a ball, sets it as a collider so that the cloth sees everything except the ball as it needs to be inside. So it just folds itself up. The tutorial I saw years ago, I think, is a slightly better attempt, which is it kind of goes through. He actually makes like something for the paper to fall through, and it like crumples on each bit. But yeah, that sort of shit is really hard to do. Although I guess you're getting at adding crumpled paper in the background, right? Which could be cool. Maybe some paper clips here or there. Let me just search writer's desk. I'm gonna. Do I still have that open? Yeah, let's just throw you over here.
I maybe accidentally hit a shortcut, so whenever I'm hitting mask and I just hold control.
Yep.
It's not drag selecting a mask.
Yes. So if you hold control in the top left where the brushes are, you'll see top left. Yep. You're looking at top right. So where the brushes are, you'll see mask rectangle is currently selected. Mask pen is the one that you normally use. So this is something that not everyone notices. If you hold control, obviously it's changing what brush you're using. If you hold shift, it changes what brush you're using. You can actually change that. So if you want shift to be clay brush and not holding shift to be standard, you can just hold shift, click the clay brush, and then let go of it. You could ask the artist what tools he uses for his artwork and add them. Well, he uses post-it notes and ballpoint pens. Because I've got the actual book. Becca bought it for our anniversary. Which is very much appreciated, and it's super cool. But it's literally a book of like, you know, scanned drawings. Although, funnily enough, the one drawing that isn't in this, like when I look on the internet, I can find every single drawing he's done, except this one. This one's not in it, but every other drawing on the internet is, which is kind of funny. But yeah, like he just draws them on post-it notes. Right, writer's desk. Let's see. Glasses, maybe.
Why is a raven like a writing desk?
What's it?
Why is a raven like a writing desk?
You
You know what it's from?
No, I have no idea.
Alice in Wonderland.
Oh, really?
Mad Hatter always says it. Or he says it in the Pt.14 scene. There's no like actual explanation as to what like everyone. If you Google it, there's loads of results for people googling like why is a raven like a writing desk.
Yeah. Oh, miniature writing desk. That's adorable. This is too old for what I'm going for.
Why don't you look at like a
Leica? Well, as in one of their work desks.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm trying to think what we would have had. Lots of glue. For anybody listening, I used to work at a design.
That's so cool. Leica's stuff is so beautiful. Oh, so you thought we were talking about a camera? No, so obviously Leica cameras are really popular. Leica is an animation studio. They make absolutely beautiful animation. Is Kubo and the Two Strings their biggest film?
Yeah, well, Coraline would probably be the most
well known. But they didn't really have their style by that point, though, right?
They did Paranorman.
Did they, though?
Yeah.
Coraline doesn't look like a film to me.
I always feel like Coraline's one of those ones that will get me. Like Paranorman is their style.
Paranorman is one of
if you
defining their style for me.
Coraline and Kubo are very similar looking
Yeah.
in terms of puppetry. Paranorman and Frankenweenie
And Box Trolls.
and Box Trolls are different, but Kubo was their most recent one.
Yeah.
And Coraline's one of their
Oh, have
first
they not
ones.
done anything since Kubo?
No.
Really?
They
Missing-
make
Missing Link.
albums. Oh, sorry, yes,
Yeah.
Missing Link. But however, I think it was with another.
I think no. Coraline feels out of place in all these.
Oh, really? Nah.
Coraline was their first film, as
See,
far as
they
I'm
all
aware.
look still different though. That's the thing.
Oh yeah, no, they're not pinned into one particular thing. When I think Leica, what I think like generally their ear shapes is what I come
that's
to.
what a lot of people do.
It's just they do super angular shapes. Like they're really good at it. The way they do eyelids as well is really cool.
I think Coraline was so successful because it was such a different movie at the time. The plot was so different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I love. You see like the puppets and stuff. If you watch, there's definitely or do you know what might be a good one? The making of. Remember the Sainsbury's advert?
Mm-hmm.
The dancers and National Breakdown where it shows you them making the puppets, or the Isle of Dogs puppets. There's definitely video or photos of them making the Isle of Dog puppets.
Yeah. And also, just to answer your question, Oscar, so they kind of are a CG studio. They're more of a stop motion studio. They do use ZBrush, but they use it to build face masks. So they do all these. So they sculpt the character in ZBrush, and then they 3D print it and paint them, like physically paint them. And yeah, so they end up with like desks covered in like all the different facial expressions for their characters. So rather than do like the Wallace and Gromit style of moving clay around, they actually print different faces and they just drop them on when they need to. And they can replace like the top half and bottom half, which is why a lot of their characters have like a split along the face somewhere. Although I don't know if this one does. No, I think they've ditched that recently.
No, they what do you call it? They never really had theirs. They comp it out. But if you look at
Oh, they comp it out, but it's there though, right?
Has it.
Yeah.
There's a movie Oscar called Anomalisa, and there's a part where like the puppet rips his own mouth plate off.
They do some nice simulation work. Yeah, they do beautiful stuff. Your favorite animation film is Storks. Yeah, that's Sony, right? Storks.
Sony.
Yeah.
Have you seen
Sony do some beautiful stuff.
Did they do Smallfoot? If you haven't seen Smallfoot, I recommend.
Did they do Smallfoot?
I don't know who did Smallfoot, but I really.
Wasn't it a French company?
I can't remember. I don't think so because I remember Christopher Thingy posting about it.
Oh, true. Yeah, and he's Blue Sky. He was Blue Sky, right, Christopher?
I'm checking.
I don't think he's worked at Sony.
He has, because he worked there whenever Spider-Verse was on.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Let me see if I can find it. Is it telling me? Oh,
What
Warner
else can
Brothers,
go on this desk? What?
Warner Brothers Animation.
Warner Brothers.
Mhm.
Hey, really?
Yeah.
Smallfoot?
Warner Brothers Pictures, yeah.
Fair.
I know it's got James Corden in it, guys, but put that aside and go watch it. The voice is
The hate for that man is
his
great.
voice is annoying in it because it doesn't make any sense, like, in context. Everyone else in the movie's like American, and then he's not. But the groom, just everything about that movie is really cool. That's why I'm excited for Croods, the new Croods movie, because it'll be one of those like visual spectaculars.
Yeah. Should I model a pencil?
You know how the pencil looks.
I do in a very old. I do have a modelled pencil for one of my old still lifes, but I have no idea where those files are. Probably long gone, to be honest. Because I abandoned the project in third year of uni. I doubt it survived the two computer changes I've had since then. Let's model a super basic pencil. I also need to change my clipping planes. It's actually worse. Let's go to 1. There we go. So let's model a basic pencil. Let's start with a cube. I know, I guess starting with a cylinder would make more sense. Because I normally smooth a cube, but I need a tip. So shut up. Childish thing. How many sides does a pencil have?
Is it 6?
Is it 6? I think it might be 6. Cylinder. Let's go with 6.
That's pencil, that is.
Yeah, I think that's about right. Let's solo this guy.
No.
I'm going to delete the ends. Then I need to get the measurements of a pencil. Pencil dimensions. Obviously I'll make it shorter, but what's the average width of a pencil? Why does that have to be in inches? Just tell me in centimeters or millimeters, please. .36, is that in millimeters? I think that's in millimeters. Yeah, it is. Alright, cool. So they're 36 millimeters across, which means going to radius, setting U to 36 mil, so that's going to be what? 3.6? So I'm modeling in centimeters? Oh, that looks like it's massive though. So let's go 0.36. That looks about right. And let's just go J, rotate U to be that way. Cool. Then we're going to need 1 and 2. I'm going to do the fill hole, extrude face, scale. Then we are going to need like a subdivided version of this, which is going to be kind of tricky to do. So the bit that's going to make it difficult to do is the way this will smooth at the end. So I need to like crease these. I'm going to not care about topology for a moment and just go for the shape. Something like that. And then if I smooth that, what does it do? A horrible, horrible looking thing. Although in some ways kind of gets what I want, so that's the right path. Ain't gonna work, is it? Need to loosen you off. Do something like that. How would this work? I've actually no idea how you'd model that shape. Kind of want to learn about edge creasing right now. I feel that would help. So let's go mesh. I don't even know where you do it. Edit mesh. Let's just go edge. And then crease tool. It did something. It's not enough of something. Poly crease. Operation crease, yes. Do I need to strengthen that up? Let's go to like 5. Nothing changed? No? Alright, cool. Oh wait, no, something did change. 10. So I'm not a hard surface guy. I'm completely out of my element right now. Let's undo that crease. Come on, there we go. So let's ignore it for a little bit. Just bevel these as a temporary measure. Let's go to 2 segments. Then smooth the whole thing. I really don't like how it does that. Why does it collapse like that? So weird. Okay. How did I model this last time? Like I was saying earlier, how I like to try stuff out and not care if I get it wrong. This is a prime example of that. Like, I'm just completely lost right now. I have no clue what I'm doing. So, let's see if I can find a good image of a pencil. Pencil model. See, so many of these like aren't what pencils look like. Pencil macro. You know what I can do? Do that, then circularize you. Oh wait, no, you already circle. I need to smooth this for it to work, don't I? Okay, so we'll leave that for a little bit. Let's just go and see the back end of a pencil. Actually, let's not do the exposed lead thing either. Just need to have a look at the way back of a pencil is. So let's level these guys again, and then not worry about that end thing. So, is it easier for me to cut this off for now, actually? So it doesn't even attempt. It's just straight up not how it should look. It's so funny how that looks. Right, okay, so let's try so you're the issue, right? Merge. Right, target world. Put you there. Just see if this works. It's a little bit better. If I'm going to smooth this, it will automatically become quads, so I'm not too worried about that. And then it gives a much nicer effect. And then I guess the same for this side, but I should do a... Oh. What are you trying to do? Pull centerpiece. Target world. That still collapses in on itself though. So do I need to do that for it to stay? Oh. Is this instant collapse that I'm not liking? Do I need to circularize this? Oh. What I'm trying to do is get the let's see if we can get a good image of this. I have no idea how to model this, basically. Like how to actually get that correct. So, Booleans might be an easy way to do it, who knows. Alright, heading now. Yeah, enjoy the rest of your night, mate. Come on. So if we circularize this loop, alright. Why can't you just be normal? Why do you have to break topology so badly? Yeah, it's just twisting it too much. Okay, so let's try doing this with Booleans instead. So undo all of that shit. Grab this edge loop and detach components. Where are you? Detach components, got there eventually. So these are now separate objects. Let's separate you. Extract faces. There we go. Cool. And then grab this and pull you that way. In fact, pull you all the way over here. Cool. So then I want this guy modify center pivot to extend further. I also want this to be smoothed once. I guess technically I actually don't want that end bit, do I? Smooth. So there's the effect that I'm looking for right there. So now let's get that back to about there. I feel like these probably need to be solid, so let's just quickly fill hole. Fill hole. And then you, I'm not going to subdivide you yet. So let's give this a go. I can't remember what order they need to be done in. I'm just going to quickly save my scene. Mesh, where's booleans? Booleans, I grab you. So I think difference? No, unless it's difference. No. Interesting, but not what I want. Not intersection, right? Oh, it's so close. So close to being what I want. I mean, I could literally just go extrude. Whoop. And then difference these. Not in that order though. Is that, which one did I just do? Intersection. There we go. Disgusting, but it works. So now I just go around, delete these guys. There we go. So now let's just add a quick, oh, these angons? Oh, yeah, of course these are angons. I'm not too worried about just inserting these loops. And grab you, connect these up. I've probably just fucked the back of this thing really badly, but let's just see if this works. In this area first. Yeah, it works well enough for me. Booleans, they are good sometimes. I need to trust Booleans more, to be honest. So I'm scared away from them from like back using Maya like 2011. Booleans were just so unstable when I used them back then. Probably because I was using them wrong, because that's when I first started using Maya. And most of the time when a student complains about something being unstable is because they're not using a clean pipeline. Or even most of the time when any artist complains about stuff not being stable, it's because they don't know the pipeline yet. So you got that. Let's see what the back of this looks like. Not fucked. I am pleasantly surprised. I do need to circularize you though. Circularize. And then multi-cut. Do that. Well, that's infuriating. Okay, which side do I let win? Because that ain't quad. Oh no. I'm gonna go with that. I'm going across for winning. And then we just need to edit edge flow this guy. I'm willing to smooth that quite a lot. And edge flow on these guys. And then do I need this to come out further? I think I do. So Let's just quickly get a loop in there, about there, just to harden that up right. And then let's do the same over here. These are still end-ons, but we can fix that. Let's just get that working first. Cool, so now we need to fix the end-ons. How are we going to go about that? And I could literally just connect these two, right? So let's just grab you, move you back, scale you up. Cool. And it's just a case of getting it super accurate. Then grab you. In fact, that's just going to merge verts, merge the center. Oh, didn't mean to hide them. Merge verts, merge center. Yeah, hard surface modeling is definitely not my area. Massive respect to the guys who can do it well. I'm not one of you. And then all we need to do at this point is do the same. So I'm pretty sure I went across, right? Let's just test it. We did not, we went down. No, we did go across. So why is that acting funny? Oh, because it's going down these. Okay, so there's not really anything we can do about that. Should these be straighter? Like that? I think they should, right? There we go, that's better. So I just need to get the pencil tip. How sharp do I want this pencil to be? Do I want it to be like a shattered pencil? Let's just put this vaguely in frame. I'll worry about rotation in a sec. I don't want to rotate it until I'm happy with the actual model shape. Let's just see if, as an idea, this works. Yeah, it needs to be longer, other than that. It's like an Argos pencil at the moment. Or a bingo pencil. So let's just grab this point backwards. That's a more respectable looking size. So they're going to be like randomly denser, right? Actually, might have been pretty fortunate on that spacing. So now I just need to make the tip of the pencil, which, let's just have a quick look. So these tend to have a pretty similar effect to what's going on here. Let me just search pencil tip. In fact, no, they don't. That's complete bullshit. They do tend to favor one side more than the other, though. So what I need to do for this, do I make it out of a separate piece? I guess I shouldn't, right? just gonna duplicate this guy. Modify, send to pivot. Have a little bit of a model thickness. So let's just boolean these two together. Mesh boolean union. And then just quickly go through and grab. Well, I guess the easiest way actually is to go and do this. Bridge. Oh, there's some weird polygon shit going on over here. There it is. Oh, and the weird places for it to happen. Bridge. Did I miss something here? So actually merge that, let's reduce this Are you actually merged? No. Why you gotta be like this? Alright, let's try. Both sides are working, so that should have no issue, but let's just do that anyway. If you give me one moment. Alright, that's working now. There we go. Just gonna quickly and all I'm gonna do here is grab these guys, get the edit mesh transform components, set random to full, apply. I guess it'd be nice for this to be in world space, right? Okay, let's break at the tip of it a little bit. Right. Do you want me to see something, you say?
Mm-hmm.
Alright, cool. One sec. Back in a sec, guys. Cool.
I like the sculpt.
Little hair.
That's cool. You're improving.
And he doesn't look too bad in other views either.
Yeah, it's because you're improving.
Like, is he even
If you hit your head against a wall enough times, you will eventually get through the wall. That is the lesson of 3D art. Yeah, it's looking good. Well done. Did you get textures on the eyes, or
No.
you're gonna paint those on later?
I'll probably do them later. I'm gonna make his little body and shit, and then maybe export him so I can light him maybe sometime.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, you're definitely getting a lot better. It's good.
And I've basically given, like, what advice have I given? I gave a note about the temples and a note about the cheeks, and that was it, right? Everything else you've done yourself. So you can do it. It's just a case of time. Now we just need to have a sculpt off, right? It's not like I've got a 6-year head start or anything. Alright, so let's see if that is working for us. Oh, I've kind of moved the wrong side, haven't I? Oh, hello. It's broken. Let's reassign. Let's just assign a new material, actually. Let's call this one pencil mat. Cool, and this has 2 shape nodes or something, doesn't it? Because it's still got that Lambert 1 stuck on there. So let's just go into a node editor. Don't need you. Why are you there? There we go. Let's just move it forward as well. Again, we'll worry about rotation once I'm happy with the model. I like being able to use symmetry or world axes wherever possible. So what else can go in the scene? Obviously, like, getting the hair on this is going to be like the most demanding shit. I'm not looking forward to that, to be honest. I'm really happy with how the box looks for some reason. The box came out quite well. Kind of annoys me because it's probably the best looking asset in the scene, despite being one of the quickest. I feel like I need something around the base of these. Like the paper needs to bump around them or something to give them a physical presence within the world. Can I, because I don't know how this will work, but there's an AO thing, right? Is there a way to make it only read other objects? It's like we got our grass mat. Oh well, I need these to have different. I'd need these to have different materials, which is fine. AO, AI ambient occlusion. Is there a consider self only? Right, cool. Let's just quickly throw that into a mission, just so we can see it. I'm gonna put this on my other screen. I've got emission turned off because I don't want to actually see it physically. I just want to solo it. So let me just pause that actually. Save my scene. And solo this guy. So, how do you work? I don't know. These are in wool units, right? So this is going to be an insanely small setting. Luckily there's a trace set for it, so we can potentially separate things out. Oh, think. Okay, I'm gonna duplicate this material. So let's go edit, duplicate material, duplicate with connections to network, and this one can be paper base. So they're now separate materials, which allows me to treat them separately. I need to create a trace set, so let's go into This is just a case of only including these. So let's go to sets, because I don't know how this will work. Set, and let's just call this grass set. And so that shall only contain one material, which I'm going, one object, which I'm going to call grass geo. Paper base mat, that's fine. And then I need to assign the paper materials to both of these, or paper material to both of these. And then I can get rid of the emission connection. And I know I'm doing a lot of stuff off screen, it's really confusing me. Let's turn that off. Just make sure that the material itself is working for a moment. Cool. So now let's turn that off. And trace set, I guess we just need to drag you over. So then let's solo you again. There we go, that's working. Okay, so now let's set that to the opposite. Fall off 0, 1. Why did that increase? Let's set fall off to 0. Basically what I'm trying to get right now is a mask for the bottom of every grass blade. Something like that looks pretty good. And then I can plug that into displacement. Or into bump. Oh, let's go to sorry message. It looks really cool, but I think it's not really what I've got in mind, mate. Cheers for sending it though. Right, how the fuck? Kill this for a moment. I'm gonna need to support the edges of this guy. So that's not gonna want to work on its own. So let's just do that. Basically, I'm about to have to smooth this thing. So it's going to need some considerable reinforcement to not immediately just fall apart. With it being a square object. Okay, and then do the same for you. Go to the other corner. Cool. And then I only need displacement on this guy, so I guess I don't even need to do that one. But let's just go Arnold, subdivision, Cat Clark, 4. Then I need to plug you into displacement. So I'm going to bring this back over now. There's my grass material, which is all the same connections bar the ambient inclusion. And now I can create a displacement, plug you in, and then grab you, which is the paper mat displacement material, grab you, and save my scene because I expect a crash right now. Am I on Miranda cam right now? I'm not. Good. And then let's see how overly strong this is. So let's just let that render for a moment. So let's get that hypershade open, and then displacement, set you to like 10. Do I need to massively increase the subdivisions? Let's try setting that to like 6, which is like 8 times the amount of polygons, so that's not working. displacement, auto bump. So that should be working. Unless paper material is still not signed. Oh, it is. So why is that not working? Let's try increasing the fall off. Let's go to like a 10. Spread. Oh, spread needs to go up. Okay. Let's update full scene. I just want the paper to do something around the grass. Something broke. Oh, I know, because I'm in the wrong camera now. Apparently not. No, it's definitely the wrong camera. There we go. So why is it not working? Does it just not support it? Do I need to bake it out as a texture? Let's give that a go. Let's assign that as a material. Try rendering for a second. So it's definitely working. So let's just try baking it. Arnold. It has a baking thing built in, right? Bake selected geometry. No. Let me just give it a quick Google. Arnold bake texture. Where is the option? I don't care what it can bake. I care where you select it. Arnold bake texture Maya. Render selection to texture. Arnold utilities render selection to texture. Alright, cool. Arnold utilities render selection to texture. Right there. Resolution, let's just go 204A should be plenty. There's no UDIMs. Output folder. Let's go into images. No. Scenes, texturing, prop paper base, temp, AO test. Oh, yeah, of course. Cool. And just hit render on that guy. Projects, person projects, StickyMonsters, scenes, texturing, paper base, temp. Well, it's doing something. It's making it as an EXR, which isn't ideal. But I guess I didn't tell it to do overall. Oh wait, no, it's going to be using the it's going to be using the render settings of the actual project. Does that mean the camera matters? We'll let that think for a little bit. Does anyone have any questions while I wait for this? If it even works? I have a suspicion it's not going to work. Give it a minute. Good night, mate. Yeah, it looks like it's not going to work. Alright, so I have to give up on the idea of displacing the paper where the grass intersects it, which is a shame, because I think that would have really tied things together and made it look like it was kind of glued on. Although I could literally model like a little blob of glue at the base of all these, give it like a slightly refractive shader. Die. Yeah, and the EXR it's baking is still 0 kilobytes. It's not writing anything yet. May just have to kill Maya right now. I also never actually opened Substance. Oh, I never actually used Substance. I open it before the chapter, so I don't have to like sign into Steam on stream. Wonder why this isn't working though. That's plenty of geometry there. It doesn't need that much geometry. Let's just kill Maya. Not responding, yeah, I thought so. So I'm gonna end the stream pretty soon as well, guys. Becca, blow out the candle.
Did you smell it?
Ah, refreshing.
Candle.
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 Becca blew out the candle. What a scandal.
Keep her lit, I guess.
Keep her lit. Ah. What is it to say?
I hate me.
You hate me?
I'm gonna bed.
You can go to bed if you want to. Do you want to turn the stream?
No.
Because I'm pretty much, I've made some decent progress.
No.
No.
Oh, I have a head with some hair.
Nice. Wait, with hair? Oh, you sculpted the little baby curl thing, yeah.
Baby.
Colour management. We have a colour space missing.
The duplicate, they give it an actual neck, but then I also give it a baby neck so that I can fit it into
Baby
the
neck.
baby body.
Baby neck.
It's so cold.
So let's turn that off.
Can you give me food?
No. Absolutely not. What's it?
That's for
A hot water bottle? I can make one once I'm done, yeah?
like this bit because it doesn't have any, like, you know, real what it should look like. All fun.
Right, so I need to get rid of displacement, which means that ultimately I can combine them back together. So let's do that. Which also means I can delete the trace set. So let's do a little bit of scene cleaning now in the stream. So let's just assign the grass material. Oh, I guess I could assign the paper material to both of them. Let's do that. Or, no, we'll keep them separate, fuck it. Paper base geo. And then we got the version where it was going to be a wood platform, which I'm not sure on. I think the writing idea sounds like more fun to me. So let's just grab both of these two. Nope. Cool, got that eventually. Combine these. Paper base geo. Pencil geo. Get rid of this guy. Don't know what you are. You are the head, so I definitely don't want to remove that. I feel like I need more in the scene though. I have a question regarding displacement and action, if you don't mind. How do you deal with characters mesh trespassing the extra mesh after displacement at render time? You can add displacement to the groom itself. I don't have action in the scene at the moment, so I can't really show you, but that's one way of dealing with it. The other way is just to make sure that your displacement isn't doing too much work, because one trap that I used to fall into a lot, and that I suspect that most people watching this fall into as well, is the displacement does too much, really. Like, you want your mesh to not really change its shape that much when you add displacement, just so animation can see, like in the pipeline context, like you'd want it, because animation, if they can't see how the model looks when it's displaced, then it's just a bit of a nightmare for them. I'm going to set that to 0. Cool. Yeah, so yeah, you can add displacement to the actual XGen hair. It's just if you go in the primitives tab on XGen, there's a displacement slider. You have to make a PTEX version of your map. So you can do that in Mudbox, you can do it in Mari, you can do it in Maya itself. It's up to you. Depends on if you're using UDIMs or using Maya, but using the other stuff should be fine. And it supports 32-bit, it supports all that stuff, so don't worry about that. But yeah, you'll have to give it a quick search though, like XGen displacement, see if you can get something good out of it. I've been taking my extra mesh to ZBrush to do a project and bake displacement, but using that displacement option in XGen. Yeah, so the reason that you can't just bake it onto the mesh is because XGen only reads PTEX. It doesn't read the mesh. It doesn't care what your mesh is doing. Basically, the moment that you put groom on it, all it does is smooth your model, and then it grooms on that. It doesn't care about displacement or any subdivision, like special subdivision settings. The correct way to be not use a very low poly mesh. Yeah, exactly. You want a mesh that doesn't change much. So if I go to this kid, for example, the displacement on him doesn't fundamentally change his shape. Like his shape, if I smooth this, stays almost identical. You get a little bit of a volume reduction here, but other than that, the shape isn't changing. Whereas you get some people that model like a character, like, obviously this is a very crude approximation, but you get some people who like model a head, and it's like, smooth this once, then chamfer, extrude. It's like, oh yeah, I've got my character's head, and then when they smooth it, it's completely different volume. XGen doesn't like this. Like, you don't want to see that ever. What?
Just mapping a frame on your screen. It's really funny.
The frame?
It's frozen on the bit where you like clicked on his head, and it's just the character's weird head in the corner, and it's like
It's like, but yeah. What else can go in this scene? I'm thinking like a whiskey glass or something.
whiskey.
Yeah. Granted, that's not going to be something I do right now, because it's 10 minutes until I usually end the stream. Although my last few streams have ended early. That doesn't mean I'm going to stay up extra late tonight. To be honest, I want to play a bit of Fallout, but you want to go bed. I'm going to quickly fix this individual grass blade.
I fucked up.
You fucked up?
I fixed it.
I mean, you've been with me for a while, you only just realised?
Hey.
Sad dab.
I'm trying to like get like freaking weird shapes going on. It's quite funny.
Oh yeah. Oh, I need to do a tall grass as well. That can wait, but
Make him more like a sack-like character than an actual. Perfect.
I'm just going to kick off a render that can be more final. Let's modify this guy's, freeze this guy's transformations, and just rotate him to fit a bit better in frame. Maybe even point him over the paper slightly. So we don't want that tangent. That's not good. So we'd need something here. Ideally, I could even do like a, well, I don't want to do a laptop because it's too much work. Obviously, I'm going to do my classic thing that I always do in miniature scenes, which is add an individual hair that's like falling off someone. I always do that. I don't know why I always do it, because it's really not that cool. But I just have a tendency of always doing it. Alright, so let's get... Did I close it? Alright, let's open that window. Get a render cam set. And then I guess, just as a temp, we should get some render settings on this guy. Not render settings. Pencil matte. I feel like rather pickly this needs to be. I don't even know if pickly is a word. It tastes really pickly. There we go, that's a bit better. I think it'd be really cool to ask the author of the original like art if he's willing to write like just a quick little like letter just talking about his character, or talking about how he likes to do things or why he does it, and then turn that into a texture. 'Cause that'd be a nice little nod, I think. So I always want, like, whenever I do something based on other people's work, I want to do justice to it. Like obviously in the case of shit, what's the name of it? The Rowan creature. I never actually gave that project a proper name because it literally is a creature based on work by Sam Rowan. So Rowan creature. But I did reach out to the actual artist, got his permission, and he did drop by a few of the streams to say hello, and he did end up quite liking the final result. FK Twigs obviously never saw the thing, at least as far as I'm aware. If she did see it, she didn't mention anything. And to be fair, I didn't really expect her to see it anyway. It would have been cool though. And then this one, I don't know if John will see this or not. It depends how well it turns out, I guess, and how much I post it with his name in it. But yeah. I'm looking forward to getting this guy posed. I think once he's posed, this will look really, really fun. I just need to make a decent enough rig for him. And I need to make the lighting work a lot nicer. There's also the question of, for the green light, do I want to make it physical? Because if I'm committing myself to doing like this little world type thing, then I could either have it actually as a modelled miniature where we have a little LED just hiding behind here, maybe you can just about see the edge of the glass or something, to get a more physically correct glow, or do I just go to the whole thing of like, oh no, it's just what the author imagined in his head, it's not actually physically there. I need to increase the aperture radius, don't I? His depth of field is way too shallow. At least for my taste. I have really extreme taste in depth of field. I always push it too far. Let's go aperture size of like double what it currently is. So that'll make the background like super out of focus. But it'll help in the miniature feel of everything. Do I want to do like I need to dual screen this. Like a little filing cabinet thing back here. Does that look visually interesting? Nope. Hi Andrea, how you doing? Stream will be ending pretty soon. Sorry to disappoint you if you just joined. I'm just trying to figure out shapes at the moment. What can go on this table? Hard to say. Another thing I'm thinking of doing is getting like a rig in the scene. So not like before I rig this dude, get like a functioning rig in the scene, something like Malcolm or Norman. Get it to his proportions and then figure out the pose. Because I need a pose that can read from multiple angles. So I don't think this isn't really what I want to do. Like obviously, yeah, leaning backwards at the box, but I kind of want to push the pose a little bit more to make it feel like the box is super fucking heavy. Because this feels like the box isn't that heavy. Although I guess at the same time it shouldn't be that heavy because it's literally just a thin piece of card. But at the same time, it's also containing this floating giant worm. So who cares if it's physically accurate? I don't know. I don't know which one to go for. I don't know how to go about it. It's something I have to figure out though. I think in the end I'm not too keen on doing that. And I don't like seeing the end of the table. Although that is less interesting. So maybe that was the right move, having all that stuff. I just need to put something here. Back wall maybe? Oh, that's my, I wonder what that was then. Plane J. Right, I'm gonna end the stream, guys.
Because I'm a comedy genius here.
Yeah, I'm just like, what the fuck? Yeah, I'm gonna end the stream, guys. Obviously, we've started to figure out now what the scene will be, which is nice. So yeah, in the next live stream, I'll probably work a little bit more on figuring out what the background's going to be, what's going to be on the table, and then modeling some of that stuff. Then we can look at getting him in pose, just so we can really start committing to the shapes, do the cloth sim that we need to do the rigging. Obviously all that stuff is way off. and then we can start doing groom as like the final step. But yeah, enjoy the rest of your night, guys, and I don't think I'll be streaming on Thursday. As I said, I want to record a quick eye tutorial just to kind of put that out there. And yeah, so I'll hopefully see you guys on Saturday. Yeah, enjoy the rest of your night. Bye bye.